A record number of people participated in the 6th annual Carib Wave Atlantic Tsunami Simulation Exercise on Wednesday, March 26 across the British Virgin Islands. A number of buildings were evacuated, sending close to 4,500 people along newly established evacuation routes to designated assembly areas as part of the Tsunami Simulation Exercise led by the Department of Disaster Management. Sean Rose has more.
Since the start of 2014, the Caribbean has been experiencing significantly large earthquakes, and regional scientists have been warning that a massive event could occur in our region. The Tsunami Simulation Exercise, staged annually, is an international initiative with participation from the Caribbean, including Central and North America. Each year, a different scenario is used to test the level of national response to these types of events. Apart from 2011, when all schools tested their evacuation procedures, this year's figure of over 4,500 people is the highest level of participation in the annual simulation since the DDM started the exercise in 2009 here in the BVI. In addition to the various schools and government departments, this year's activity also attracted support from more private sector agencies when compared to previous years. But let us look beyond those numbers. Was the test run a success in terms of timeliness and smooth flow to the designated evacuation routes? Philomena Robertson is Information and Education Manager at the DDM.
We are quite pleased with that level of participation because, as our motto states, it is better to prepare and prevent than to repair and repent. So once persons get into the practice of learning the procedures that have to be followed in the event of hazard impact, it becomes easier if or when something should actually happen, that they know exactly how to respond and where to go. In terms of government departments and agencies, we had full evacuation of the central administration complex, and that for us was very good. We also had buy-in at the very top level. Cabinet was in session, and we had the governor, the premier, and the ministers of government evacuating the building as well. The premier and ministers could have been seen walking along the evacuation route towards the designated assembly areas. So that level of buy-in is really motivating, not just for the DDM, but I'm sure for the wider population who would have participated. The governor himself, as head of the National Emergency Operations Center, he reported to the center, which would be activated in the event that we had an actual hazard impact. And there he had discussions with our director. So for us at the DDM, the simulation exercise went very well.
After the event, a debriefing was held, and DDM Director Charlene Dabrio said she was pleased with the feedback from the evaluators, but she indicated that a number of critical departments, agencies, and private sector organizations still need to come on board to ensure that a comprehensive approach to disaster management is continuously practiced throughout the territory. But what are some of these critical organizations?
It is really important for persons to take advantage of simulation exercises such as these to practice their evacuation procedures. And in the debriefing session that we had following the exercise, it was clear that many persons were quite clear as to what they needed to do, and they followed the necessary steps. They were able to secure their buildings, they were able to account for all of their employees. But unfortunately, there are some critical departments and agencies that are still not on board. And from the DDM standpoint, we can only encourage them to be part of these exercises, to create their disaster plans, to test their disaster procedures, so that in the event of anything, they know how to respond and they can do so effectively and reduce the level of losses in terms of property damage and even lives.
Encouraged by the interest shown by the sister island representatives and the number of requests received this year for presentations at various businesses, DDM officers have been busy in the field facilitating the installation of additional early warning components, public awareness initiatives, training, and talks with various organizations. Over the years, the DDM has developed its tsunami and earthquake program, with the introduction of tsunami models that have generated new evacuation maps for the territory. These new maps and evacuation signs have been installed on Tortola and Anegada, and in the coming weeks, similar signs will be available on Virgin Gorda and Jos Van Dyke. Sean Rose, JTV News.